G'day guys, decided today to get the Vitpilen out. So it's been probably over a month now since the last video, and I did put this thing up for sale, but I've decided not to sell it. I put the ad on pause, and every time I see posts on Instagram with this bike I just keep clicking like, and I just love this little bike. Just look at it. Look how good it is. It's still stock. It's still got the stock exhaust. And the only change is there with the mirrors. Now, I did have to ride it the other day and get the computer reset to say that it had been serviced. And when I did have it for sale, it was just annoying that if anyone did look at the bike, they would have just said needed a service. So now that's all cleared. And I wish I had the software and the computer access to do that, to fiddle with this, but yeah, that's the only thing about bikes these days. You're just not allowed to hook anything up to it. The old Ducati I could. I had the software to do it. Now, one thing with this bike, I've noticed that people, what's your preference? To have the mirrors up like this, in this position, or reversed underneath? See, the thing is, with the mirrors reversed underneath, usually you have to bend your arm and then look. So that's an extra 1 second delay. And that 1 second delay looking at mirrors can get you into trouble. So that's why I leave it up. Now, the power of this little bike, you're going to see what it's like in twisties. Other things, what's else been happening? Well, winter's truly, officially here in Australia. So we're all us bike riders, we have our long johns on, or thermals underneath. And today should be might be actually, compared to you Americans, that pretty warm, as we don't get the snow. The other thing is, I'm going to try change the video format of these videos. As with this view, it's got the super view on the GoPro, so it's a lot wider. And I'm trying to get more sky than road. That's the thing with video. You guys want to learn to do video, most of the time it's just trial by error. You just do a recording, then you look at the footage on the computer in the editing software, and if you don't like it, you go back to square one and you change it. There's the one thing that I don't do, I don't record in 4K. I've set the camera at 2.7K, but there might be an issue with me doing that, because I've noticed that if I view the YouTube video on YouTube in 2.7K, it gives me a black border. It's okay viewing on the phone, as where most people, probably 90% of people, view content on their phones these days. So that's one other thing that I look at. But by recording in 2.7K, it allows me to record for 5 hours on a, I think it's 128 gigabyte little micro SD hard drive thing, card. And audio's done with a Sony lapel mic that I just hook on the inside of this helmet, and that cable runs to my breast pocket inside my jacket to a Zoom H1 recorder, and that has a 2 GB card in it. But yeah, audio recordings can go for ages with the 2 gig card, so very cheap. And the H1 back in the day cost me about $128, but there is a new version these days. So if you're wondering how I do my audio, that's how my audio. I don't do it directly with the GoPro. So kind of it's a, what do you say, it's like a contingency type option, or is it a redundancy option? So it allows you to have breaks up the content that you store. Today's ride, going to go into the city of Sydney. Generally takes me about 1 hour and less. So a bit of an example of doing city riding on the Husqvarna Vitpilen 701 and how nimble this bike. So mostly this video is going to be about riding with this small little bike in and out of the city. So I don't know what the title will be yet. And I actually have my mate on his KTM 790 with me today. For some reason, he usually sometimes leads. Today he's just sitting behind me. And he did have a little accident, he was telling me the other day. He had a little crash. He was showing the scratches on his bike. But lucky he didn't get hurt. Now I'm used to him sitting close to me. We've been riding for a long time. So you'll see him in my mirrors. Yeah, a lot of other people probably get really uncomfortable with someone sitting that close. I've actually gotten used to it. And the thing is, he knows how I ride, and I know how he rides. So that's one thing about, when you go riding with people, you'll find who you're comfortable with. As where I got other people I know where they're actually the terrible riders, and I've actually dropped my bike because of other riders. I won't say who, but I dropped pretty much a brand new Yamaha MT-09 on the road because of the way another person rode. So there can be, you got to be careful with people, especially in traffic and stuff like that, where they've got the habit of pinging their bike and they don't look, and then because they take off to a erratic, I was taking off normal at the time, but I was on an angle on the road, and because they went to take off and then they slammed and stopped, I was at the wrong angle, and the bike just went. And I've only ever dropped the bike once. Touch wood, I won't do it again. And I still have the issue with having a noisy helmet, but I do have earplugs in my ears, and I would like to do a little mini review of those earplugs because I think they're pretty good. Other news, in Australia, unmarked cars, booking people, and that's another issue. So you've got to take it easy now because you get pinged both ways with these unmarked camera cars. Let's talk about the Vitpilen. Go back to this. What's happened to this Vitpilen? I did have a mate with the 701 dirt bike, and his engine seized. And the reason his engine seized and ruined his bike was the fact that these engines, they're known for burning off oil. And as I took this bike to the dealership the other day, they said, make sure you come back when it's done 5,000 Ks. They pretty much highlighted that, you want to change your oil every 5,000 Ks, not what the service manual says. Ooh, I'm actually really getting real low on fuel. 150 Ks a tank, not that bad, but Just saw it drop a bit. Now, who wants to know about comfort of this bike? I've been on the bike probably, what, 15 minutes? And I already, you feel the pressure on your hands, being leaning forward. So it is what it is. Cafe racer bikes are notorious for not being comfortable, but out of a lot of bikes compared to Ducati Sport Classic and stuff like that, this bike is actually manageable. It's not too bad. As I have the Ducati, that used to really punish me. I loved the bike, but it didn't love me back. That's the saying I had going for it. So now the cars are starting to bank up. We're starting to get a bit of traffic. Let's talk about tank bags. Here's another little topic. I do have the Krager US 20 tank bag on here, if you can see. And the beauty of it, you can move it and put it on any bike. So the two straps tie into the frame on the front. That's a beauty of trellis frames too. Trellis frame bikes, you can do stuff like this, tie things down. And what you do for the other side, because the Krager bag that has a Velcro side on the straps, I've reversed it. So the Velcro I've stuck on top of the battery. I'm pretty sure the battery, there's a casing here under the seat, and those Velcro pads just go there and it just sticks on. The only thing is that the draw card is filling up, so you've got to undo the two clips and fold the bag back onto the seat, and then you can fill up your bike. And I'll give an example of that when we get to it. Now I can't see, so these big cars like that, SUVs, my technique of riding is to move so I can see what's ahead. So there you go, I can see that the red lights ahead. Now you don't want to go over 20 k's an hour lane splitting here, because Sydney drivers tend to get a bit upset with motorbikes, but the law states that we can lane filter, and I'm going to take advantage of it. And there's no need for car drivers to get upset, because we're long gone by the time they take off. As you can see, if I look in the mirror, they're already back, 500 metres. And that's why we ride bikes. I can get to the city car versus bike. Yeah, bike wins hands down. If I went by car, it's just nightmare. It's just a punish to be in the car. Going to check that I'm recording. I can't see. Yep, still recording. That's another trick with video cameras and GoPros. You could just check and see if the red light's on, to make sure that you're recording. There's a truck next to me. Funny, a lot of riders, they get really scared with trucks next to them. The first time you do it, it's daunting when you've got the trucks there in traffic, but after you've done it a million times, you get used to it. Just like a big dinosaur next to you, big friendly dinosaur. Now another thing that I'll do, I don't like sitting in people's blind spots, so you do what you can to overtake the cars. Those cages tend to switch lanes. Now my only mistake today was wearing summer gloves. And I've got these Roland Sands cafe racing style gloves on today, and I already feel cold. The problem is I really like the glove, except for this index finger, because it's where it's sewn on the inside. My finger hits the where it's joined. Okay, I've got a topic we could talk about. When you sell your motorcycle, do you let people test ride your bike? Now, when I had this for sale, I had a couple of people come and look at it, and they wanted to test ride the bike, but I did not let the person do it because A, they're not insured. They're not insured, and I'm not a dealership. I don't have the overheads to afford someone to A, steal my bike, and B, drop it and crash it. Because the other option is, if someone wants to test ride your bike, I go, look, you can test ride the bike, but here, you give me the cash and I hold the cash, and then if you drop it, that means you buy it. You drop it, you break it, you buy it. Generally, if they're interested in the bike, yeah, you want to buy it or you don't. Test riding, yeah. These are the issues are that bikes like this, they've been discontinued. You can't just really go and test ride them. And cafe racing bikes, they're a niche market too. So you got to know, that if you haven't ridden one before, it's not going to be the most comfortable bike. But yeah, that was one of the questions I did get. Oh, is it comfortable? And I said, well, it is what it is. One person looked at it, they were real short. And this bike actually sits kind of high for what it is. So there might be some gaps where I don't talk. And depends if I just speed up some in between the breaking of talking. Let's see what my mate's doing. I've got to go down this way, because that's one thing about being in Sydney traffic. It's real tight. Our roads are really tight for lane filtering. And there is a Ute, HZ, or HQ maybe? I'll go with HZ. I crashed one of those once, or a WB version anyway. Sideways, like a big set of traffic lights like this in winter on a wet road. And I took out the biggest light pole you've ever seen. It fell across 3 lanes of traffic and that, yeah. And the silly thing I did was I went and picked up the end of it and then moved it off the road. I was surprised I didn't get electrocuted. There's me mate on his KTM. Truck. He's gone. See, my mate changed lanes. He didn't even have to read my mind. So that's on the list. Some communication. So he could tell me, he could tell me if something's going to happen. So if you ride with someone, yeah, I think it is a good idea to have some Bluetooth device so you can chat. What's this car doing? Now we're through the first stage where it gets traffic in Sutherland there. It gets pretty heavy. We're having a good run at the moment. A little bit up ahead. Something going on. It's smoky. Oh, he must have slammed his brakes. Phew. Now what's this Vitpilen done? This Vitpilen has officially done 1,524 kilometres. Yeah guys, what do you think of the Red Bull KTM 790 with our sticker wrap? What's this guy doing? Did it indicate or what? He still didn't realise. Look at him, too busy eating. Scoffing something down. Learner. Watch for them. Now, what plans do I have for this YouTube channel? One thing that I'd like to put together, which I've been lazy to do quite a few times, I do these moto camping trips, and the next trip I'd like to ride to Jenolan Caves and camp at Oberon. But the problem is that with winter now really setting in, it'll start snowing soon in the mountains. But yeah, black ice on the road, so won't be keen to ride with black ice on the road. Man, right now we're having a kick-ass run. Yeah, the last few weeks my mate's been in the groove, recording and stuff. He's been on fire. Mind you, I've been pretty average ever since I was trying to ride a bike with a flat tyre. I felt like my front wheel was going to come off the ground when you're doing 100 and 110. But that sensation now of a flat tyre, I already know all about it with that type of bike. So if I'm ever to come across a flat tyre and I'm riding like that, then I just know. Now, I'm really surprised by how much the KTM, the power cups, they hold their shape, especially when they're flat.